This is Clark Kent from the Predatory Lending Network, out with the news that Apple and Google are now the two biggest companies in the world, just under $500 billion. What do you make of this?
Well, I'm not from this world, you see. I've traveled from my planet, which I can't say where from because we're not very friendly to visitors, you see. But you guys are much more friendly. And while my time here, I found that there's this Apple company. It makes like these whirligigs. There's a dragon. Fearsome beasts. Anyway, they make these whirligigs and these gadgets and these gizmos aplenty, and you know, you press a button, it does a thing. But Google, I've also heard, does like, you type in and there's information, and they own all these websites that you call them and these other things, right? And I don't know very much about them other than what I've just said. But if Apple is down by another dragon, oh my goodness, your place is ridden with them. You really need to get pest control out of their management. Anyway, so the Apple, they're down by $500 billion. That seems like an awful lot of money. I mean, you can buy all sorts of ships and all those sorts of things. Like food. I like food. I haven't had lunch or breakfast. So tell me more.
Now, Apple is down 28% over the last year, under $500 billion for the first time in 2 years. Do you think Apple is still the market leader?
2 years? Well, that's not a very long time, is it, for something? I mean, you look at the markets and things go up and down all the time. Even on my planet, things go up and down. I mean, I remember last year when you know, it was Bob's Tech Shop. God bless these dragons. That's the third one. I heard that there's like this Daenerys person. She should really be taking care of them. Anyway, so this Apple is down, and for the first time in 2 years. And is Apple still the market leader? Well, you know, maybe it's time for Apple to have a bit of a lie down, eh? Maybe a bit. I mean, what do you think?
Now, it is unknown if the new iPhone will be out this year or next. Now, do you think Apple can survive without Steve Jobs?
Well, this iPhone thing is not something that I really personally would care about. I mean, I have more of an Android, if you get my meaning. Yeah, he's my servant, you see. He's in my room. He's taking a rest. I've got to plug him into the wall. Yes, we still have to charge him. It's even in our technological advanced age, these little brass people that we have, we must still charge them. It takes forever. Anyway, I digress. Steve Jobs. Yes, I've heard of him. He was quite the inventor and quite the man, if I remember right. But can they survive without him? I think so. He put all of his ideas and his technologies out there. Now, are they still going to be the biggest in the market? I don't know, right? Because, you know, there's other people and other companies and startups and things happen, and the technologies change all the time. All the time. Is there anything else that you have for me on this story, though?
Test. Good, it's still working. Yeah.
We're going to edit this bit out.
Oh, yeah. Should Apple buy Tesla and have Elon Musk as the CEO? There's been talk about that.
No. See, in my age, you know, in the future, Tesla and Elon Musk, they live in infamy, and dragons. I hate them, and. I do believe that Mr. Elon Musk and his ideas need to remain pure and of his own, and he doesn't need to be combabulated with this Apple. That Apple needs to stay in their own division and do their own thing and have their own brilliant ideas, and let Mr. Elon Musk pave the way for the new future with new technology without being boggled down by these other politicians and their ways of things. That's just my opinion, because in the future, Tesla rules everything.
So in closing, is there any last minute things you'd like to say?
I would like to say that your planet is not quite bad. You guys have been very affable and friendly towards me and my crew and my associates. So thank you for that, and I thank you for your time. You just randomly picked me out of the crowd and wanted to have a discussion, so I appreciate that. And you have a wonderful day, good sir.
So in closing, this is Clark Kent on the Predatory Lending Network saying, live long and prosper. This is Clark Kent from the Predatory Lending Network, out with the news that Apple and Google are now the two biggest companies in the world, just under $500 billion. What do you think of this?
I'd believe it. Apple and Google are both huge. Everybody knows about them, and everybody has, you know, either an iPhone or knows of an iPhone or uses Google. So they're both huge.
Okay, Apple is down 28% over the last year, and now Apple is down 28% over the last year and is under $500 billion for the first time in 2 years. Now, is Apple still the market leader?
I would say so. I mean, who pays real close attention to those stats anyways? I mean, I'm sure the higher ups do because that's their job, but I mean, I don't think they've gone any smaller or any less recognizable or any less, known or spoken of.
It is unknown if the new iPhone will be out this year or next year. Now, can Apple survive without Steve Jobs?
I think so. I mean, he played a big part in it, of course, and I mean, at least his passing is semi-recent. But maybe down the road, if they don't find, a new public figure, a face of Apple that people can relate to, they might be in trouble. But for right now, I think they're fine.
Now, there's talk that Apple should maybe buy Tesla Motors and put Elon Musk as CEO. What do you think of that?
What do you think of that?
It's not my planet. What do I care?
I think that'd be awesome. Why not?
So in closing, is there any last minute things you'd like to say?
No. Thanks for interviewing me. This has been awesome.
Okay. So in closing, this is Clark Kent. So this is Clark Kent on the Predatory Lending Network saying, live long and prosper.
All right. I can never do that right.
This is Clark Kent on the Predatory Lending Network. Out with the news that Apple and Google are now the two biggest companies in the world, just under $500 billion. What do you think of this?
Well, I think it's a bit troubling. Apple products have been very popular with a lot of people, so the news that they're no longer the biggest tech company out there, it's really interesting. I failed to see how I failed to see that.
Yeah, I can see how you failed to see that. Apple is down 28% over the last year, under $500 billion for the first time in 2 years. Now, do you think Apple is still the market leader?
It's possible. I'm not sure that they'd be able to pull it out. I mean, they'd have to come out with their new product pretty soon to offset the whole this debacle. But they could pull it around, I think.
Now, it is unknown if the new iPhone will be out this year or next year. Now, do you think Apple can survive without Steve Jobs?
I think it'll be a bit of a challenge, but with some restructuring, I think it's possible.
Now, people say that maybe Apple should buy Tesla and Elon Musk should be CEO. What do you think of that?
That's an interesting idea. It's a very interesting idea. It would put Apple into, I think, some uncharted territory. I think they've done computers for most of their existence, but to have them also do electric vehicles rather, be very interesting. And if it happens, I'd be curious to see what they do with it.
So in closing, is there any last minute things you'd like to say?
Not particularly. I'm a bit of a loss at this point.
So in closing, this is Clark Kent from the Predatory Lending Network saying, live long and prosper. This is Clark Kent from the Predatory Lending Network, out with the news that Apple and Google are now the two biggest companies in the world, just under $500 billion. What do you think of this?
I'm actually not surprised just because of how ubiquitous they both are. I mean, I confess, I have an iPhone.
Now, Apple is down 28% over the last year, under $500 billion for the first time in 2 years. Is Apple still the market leader?
I have to confess, I'm not too familiar with like business matters and stuff like that, but Apple is still pretty recognizable as a brand, and I think it's worldwide known. So with the market going up and down as they normally do, they tend to go in cycles. If they are number 2 instead of being number 1, it wouldn't surprise me if eventually they'll come back up. Although recently I did hear that Apple is kind of in trouble with the mayor of Cupertino in Northern California. Apparently there's some disagreements with the tax rate, and so I recently heard about an article where I think it was Fortune magazine or something like that, where the mayor of Cupertino is saying that Apple's abusing us by not paying enough taxes.
What question was I on? The first one or the second one?
You just read the second one.
Okay, so we're doing the third. It is unknown if Apple can get the new iPhone out this year or next year. It is unknown if the new iPhone will be out this year or next. Can Apple survive without Steve Jobs?
I think so. I mean, you know, it's a pretty well-established company. They have a lot of people working that are very experienced. So I think the foundations were strong enough that it doesn't matter who is still there or not there. I think they put the infrastructure so that if the people that are in charge are doing their job and doing what they're supposed to be doing, that they can survive it.
Okay, now should Apple buy Tesla and have Elon Musk as the CEO?
Oh, that's an interesting idea because Tesla's been all over the news lately. A friend of mine actually is a convert. She originally wasn't too into the whole Tesla thing, but she and her dad ended up test driving a Tesla and they ended up buying one.
So do you have any last minute things you'd like to say to the folks around the galaxy?
I don't know. Stay shiny because this is WeDoneCon.
Okay, so in closing, this is Clark Kent from the Predatory Lending Network saying live long and prosper.